highest bearing point of view by maybe only involving a few lawyers in a few countries where we know that the regulators are quite strict, and using that as a baseline. But ultimately, that does not typically, result in the best responses for instance, a marketing team or commercial use of personal data, because ultimately you will restrict your entire European business to the strictest authority in the EU.
In clinical trials, we also have ethic consideration, and what we want the least is to let privacy compliance be a blocking point for the opening of the clinical trial. The more we wait, the more the patient will wait, the more stress and pressure they will have. So this is definitely one important reason that we have to master privacy and data governance to make sure that we avoid crippling scientific research itself.
For instance, without a clear understanding of your data, you cannot ensure that it's processed strictly for its intended purposes. And this not only creates transparency and lawfulness issues, but also increases the risk of unauthorized or inappropriate use. So of course, this can also lead to a loss of control of your data. Another example is that it becomes very difficult to apply appropriate data retention policies, as well as resulting in outdated or inaccurate information. Both of these issues undermine data quality and increase compliance risks.
If for no other reason, for the reason of oversight and transparency, and for us to collect more data and to process more data, we need this moral persuasion, because the staff that is being intrusively viewed because of the data we collect needs to understand that in a part we are collecting all of this data because we want to protect them, so that we can assure these external stakeholder and the general public that how they perform their tasks is well and appropriate. And on the other hand, like I said, they need to be well reassured that nobody has access to their data.
So we have on the one hand the morality aspect, because indeed we are talking about the right to privacy. You cannot do privacy governance without acknowledging that right of individuals to their privacy. And then we have, of course, the legal compliance is a law. We have to comply with it. But also there is another perspective. We think about competitive advantage, brand reputation.
The more data I have, the better I will do in the future. And I need to keep this, kind of like a kid who stores, stones or collects whatever. But now, it's quite the opposite. There's so much data. We need to be smart about it. We need to automate. We need to see what do we need and why do we need this? And that's kind of, the first step going into, not only knowing what we have, but also to make sure that we have some kind of clear data ownership and some kind of defined governance structure.